Yes, sir.
Getting it now? So
Yes, sir.
basically they are allowing the electric current to pass through them, whereas there are some bodies that does not allows the electric currents to pass through them, right?
Yeah.
And in our previous class several times I was told that in the flow of electric current, what is it exactly that is flowing?
Electron.
Exactly, electron. So the electric current that is reaching in our houses, it is basically the movement of electron, right? And what about the charge nature of the electron? Is it positive or negative?
Positive.
It's negatively charged. Yeah,
Yeah.
electron is negative, while Arhan, proton is na positive particles, protons hote hain. Getting it now? Okay,
Yes, sir.
all right then. So there are two types of matter, two types of substances based on whether they conduct electricity or not. पहले को हमने कहा exactly they are the good conductors and then they are the bad conductors, right? Insulators भी हम जिसे कहते हैं. So for example, almost all the metals like coppers, aluminum, iron, silver, gold, all of them will be conducting electricity right now.
Yes, sir.
Whereas you have matters, some matters which are very poor conductor of electricity and you call them as insulators as well. For example, rubber, plastics, and wood. Now if someone were to ask like what is it in the structure and the composition of the two types of substances here that one is able to allow the electricity to pass through it while other is not allowing, it has got to do with the composition of the substance, right? And the arrangement of the molecules of that substance. Getting it now? So it
Yes,
is
sir.
just the nature of the substance. Okay, we can't say anything in that matter right now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we know that like the electricity that reaches in our houses, it is via the copper wires right now. So
Yes,
so
sir.
far we have seen that we are aware of the substances that are in solid state only, but the question is that are there any substances apart from solid state also? Can liquids also conduct electricity?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Water.
Exactly, they can conduct electricity. Okay, so in order to conduct electricity for liquids, the liquid has to have some ion particles in them.
Yes,
Okay,
And electrolytes.
electrolytes basically. Good.
yes, sir.
So for example, if you were to have a distilled water, okay, the electricity won't be passing through it because it has got no ions in it.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Okay,
sir.
now ions are what? Ions are simply charged particles that
Yeah.
generates when electricity passes through a liquid.
Yes,
Right
sir.
now, so if you were to, let's say you have not taken a distilled water, and if you were to try to pass electricity through it, electricity won't be passing through it. Why is it
Yeah.
so? Because
Sir, because
ions
second
will
time.
not be ions will not be generating in it.
Yeah.
Okay, so look, for example, just for example, although say हम आगे class में discuss करेंगे, but still for example, when we will be discussing the concept of electroplating, we will be discussing that in detail. Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
for example, you have an electrolyte. Electrolyte is simply a solution that conducts electricity, that allows electricity to pass through it. We will come to that later on.
Yes, sir.
For example, if I have dipped a wire here and a wire here also, okay, the wire is naked, right? Now, in order to electrons to pass from this wire to this wire, it's a negative charge by the way, okay? From
Yes.
this wire A to the wire B, there has to be a medium, and the
Yes,
medium
sir.
is being provided by this electrolyte, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Electrolytes have got this special thing in them that they can produce ions when electricity will pass through them. But if I were to have a distilled water, then in that case, what will happen? Ions are not generated when we try to pass current through them. So for example, हमारे पास polluted water है, गंदा पानी है, through that water electricity will be passing, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Or you have other examples of electrolyte. For example, you have got acids, bases, basic solution है, acidic
Yes, sir.
solution है, right now, or salt solution है. Through that,
Yes, sir.
through that electricity will be passing very easily. Getting it now?
Yes, sir.
So you see, we see that there are some important differences in the conduction of electricity. Okay,
Yes, sir.
Yes,
as
sir.
we will be discussing further. So हमारे पास जो distinction है that is as conductors and insulators so far, right? Have a look at
Yes.
some of the examples given here. For example, you have silver, gold, copper, steel, and seawater. Now, why seawater is an electrical conductor?
So it has salt.
It has salt. It's simply salt water, right?
Yeah.
Then you have got electrical insulators. Why these are insulators? Because why is it so?
Since it does not contain salt or any iron particles.
Exactly. When you will try to pass electricity through it, ions will not be produced. Getting it now? That is the reason.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Interestingly, diamond, many times people confuse it to be a conducting substance, although it's a insulator, right?
Yeah.
Now, okay,
Yes, sir.
all right. Now, suppose if there is a fire, breakout of fire somewhere, and if you are asked to use an, you will be basically, and suppose the cause of the fire might have been electrical short circuits. Say
Yeah.
the cause of the fire is short circuit. Now, which of the insulating substance or insulator will you be using to put that fire
Sand.
off? Sand,
Yes, sir.
obviously. Your first choice has to be
Sand.
sand, right? Now? And in no case person should be using the water.
Yeah.
Water should
Yes,
not
sir.
be used, right? Neither oil should be used or
Yes.
any other substance because that will ignite the fire. Because
Yeah.
in order to fire to spread, it needs oxygen,
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
right? Now, so we basically try to cut off the contact of oxygen from the fire.
Yeah.
Anyways, now whenever there's a flow of current through the medium, if you were to observe that if a high voltage current is flowing through the wire and if someone were to touch the wire, they will feel that the wire becomes warm, right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Very good. Now, so we see that whenever current is flowing, there will be some changes in the medium.
Yeah.
Okay, those changes that develop in the medium are called the chemical changes. Getting it now?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So, for example, when, as I said, that when electricity is passed through a solid, then chemical changes takes place or not?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. Yes, sir.
It will take
Okay.
place.
It will take place.
It will take place.
Yes,
No,
sir.
look here. The heating of wire we can't consider as a chemical change. Reason why? Because as soon as the flow of electricity stops, that wire will again become cold now.
Yeah.
So we
Yes,
say
sir.
that when electricity is passed through a solid, then no chemical change takes place. But when
Okay.
electricity or electric current passes through a liquid, you will see that there will be development of some changes that will be termed as chemical changes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So here you have to make the distinction. Is Ahmed here in the class? Ahmed in class join kiya?
He is here.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
He is connecting to audio.
Okay, okay. Okay. Almost 15 minutes late, Ahmed is in the class. Hmm? How he will be able to connect with the topics? Anyways, yes, Ahmed. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay, look here. Then, as I said, that chemical changes will be taking place when the medium is liquid. Chemical changes will be taking place only when the electricity passes through the liquid medium.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So, what are the some of the changes that you can observe? Yeah. Chemical changes that will develop in the liquid are as follows. There might be formation of gas bubbles. Okay.
Yeah.
At the electrodes. Now, what is this electrodes now? We will get to know them in detail when we come to the concept of electrolysis. Okay, still let me just give you a glimpse of it here. If you were to take a electrolyte solution that conducts electricity, okay,
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
and if you were to dip two metal rods here, two metal rods are dipped in here and they are connected with source of electricity with wire here,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Now one will be developing a positive charge, one will be developing a negative charge, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So one will be one that develops positive charge will be called as cathode, another one will be called as anode.
Yeah.
So electrodes are nothing but these are metallic rods that are dipped in the electrolyte solution.
Yes, sir.
अभी आपको सिर्फ इतना जानना है, getting it ना?
Yeah.
So
Yes,
what will
sir.
happen when you will pass electricity through it? There will be formation of gas bubbles at electrodes. Gas bubbles कहाँ form होंगे? यहाँ पर नहीं. Gas bubbles will be forming in this region here, for example.
Yes, sir.
Right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So based on that, when you observe this formation of gas bubbles, we say that some chemical reaction must have occurred in this medium, right now, in this electrolyte.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Why not in this electrode you will be seeing chemical reaction? Because as we know that electric currents does not have a direct effect on solid substances
Yes, sir.
as it
Yes, sir.
moves across the solid substances, right?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
now deposition of metals will be electrode. For example, if this is iron and this is copper, what might happen? That there might be a deposition of copper on iron. That's how
Yes, sir.
electroplating is done.
Yes,
That's
sir.
how, for example, if you were to take this as if you were to do the process of galvanization, then if suppose this cathode was made up of, for example, one of the electrode was made up of zinc, then the zinc will be depositing over the iron object here. That's how the process of galvanization is done
Yes, sir.
right now. Okay, deposition of metals at electrodes as we just discussed, and changes in color solution, right?
Yeah.
For example,
Yes, sir.
if you were to take a beaker and put some concentrated acid in it. Okay,
Yeah.
what are some concentrated acids? Give some examples.
Sulfuric acid.
Sulfuric acid, that is
Uh,
H2SO4.
yeah. Nitric acid.
What is the formula of nitric acid?
So,
Hmm?
uh,
Anyone who knows the
NaOH.
formula? Hmm.
Sir,
NO2.
No, it's
NO3.
HNO3.
Oh,
No, HNO3. Then what is the formula of hydrochloric acid, by the way? Uh-huh.
OH something.
Hydrochloric acid. Arhan and Ahmed, I guess you can tell me the answer. What is the formula of HCl? Sorry, I just said it. It's hydrochloric acid. It's HCl.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Hydrochloric acid. Okay, this chloric, it comes from chlorine. Okay,
Yes, sir.
chloric refers to chlorine. Hydro basically refers to hydrogen here. So
Yes.
HCl. So ये कुछ हमारे concentrated acids हैं. And for example, if you were to dip in a rusted coin in it, okay, rusted coin, then what will happen? The acid will eat the rust. The
Yes,
acid
sir.
will
Yes,
eat the rust, and if you were to take the coin out, it will be clean and bright,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay, so that there also a chemical reaction has occurred. Getting it now?
Yes.
So these are some effects of electric current, chemical effects of electric current. Apart from this, if you guys have any other examples, please do quote the examples here.
Sir, examples of what?
Examples of chemical effects of electric current apart from these three effects. If you guys
Um,
have ever encountered yourself, like if electricity is passing through liquid, if you observe any other phenomena apart from these three. Yes.
no, sir.
Mm-hmm. No. Arhan? No. Okay. Anyways. Okay. One
Sir,
more
change
thing.
of texture.
Change of
Texture.
texture. Change of texture, that can be counted. Okay, that can be counted. Okay. One important thing you guys should also know about electrolyte. Okay, electrolyte is basically what? It's a liquid that conducts electricity, that is called as an electrolyte. Electrolytes भी दो तरह के हो सकते हैं.
Sir,
First,
the water is also electrolyte.
water that contains some amount of impurities in it. Okay, water that is 100% pure, okay, or 99% pure, that is not an electrolyte. It has
Okay.
to have some impurities in it. So
Okay.
electrolyte, a liquid that conducts electricity is called an electrolyte. Now, आप घर पे खुद से electrolyte कैसे बना सकते हो? How you guys can yourself prepare an electrolyte?
Lemon
Do tell me.
juice,
Lemon juice, good.
salt solution.
Salt solution. Okay, some of the homemade examples, as Arhan you said, lemon juice is an example. Salt solution. Right now, ये हमारे examples हैं of electrolyte. Apart from that, you have got examples of lemon juice is basically an acid base or any salt solution.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
In short, I have written solution like this. Okay, as well. Over to the head as a small and getting it now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, electrolytes with two types. So the electrolytes are also of two types. One that is a weak electrolyte and one that is a strong electrolyte.
Yeah.
So strong electrolytes, what does it mean?
It
Which
conducts
has,
more electricity.
yes, sir. Large
Exactly.
amount of electricity is conducted.
Exactly. So we say that one that conducts more electricity. And then you have the example of weak electrolyte. So Arhan, the example which you gave are the examples of a strong or weak electrolyte?
So weak electrolytes.
Exactly. That conducts lesser electricity are examples of weak electrolyte. Okay now.
Yes,
So
sir.
electrolytes are concepts clear here, and electrodes are nothing but these are the rods which are dipped into the electrolyte solution and they are connected to the electric circuit. For example, यहाँ पर आप देखो. Okay, this electric circuit here. Look at here. Electric circuit, you know, if the pathway of flow of electric current is closed, yeah, you guys
Yes,
must
sir.
have studied in your junior classes also in your class 7 or 6 might be. Okay, so if electricity is flowing in a closed pathway, the
Yeah.
flow of current is in a closed pathway, then we say that this is an electric circuit. If the
Yes, sir.
circuit is open, we say that this is an open circuit in which the
Yes, sir.
current is not flowing. Okay, the current will be flowing, the current will be flowing, but only from one direction.
Yes, sir.
Okay, basically from the battery, but it won't be reaching the appliance.
Yes,
So
sir.
what is a closed loop? It's a electric circuit. It's a closed loop path which a current take. It is known as electric path. As you can see here, charge is moving from this battery towards this bulb. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now when the path of the circuit is closed, the current flows through it. But when there is a break in the path, that means switch. If you were to open the switch, then the circuit is open and is not conducting. Right
Yeah.
now. That is
Yes,
simple
sir.
concept of electric circuit you guys are already aware of. Now
Yes,
we
sir.
all might you guys might have seen a tester, right?
Yeah.
It's similar to a screwdriver. Okay, it's similar to a screwdriver and has got a bulb attached to its head.
Yes, sir.
Very good. A bulb attached to it. That is a tester. It looks somewhat like this. So what is this tester? It's a piece of electrical equipment that is used to check the presence of electric current.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and it is usually a conductor with a LED bulb to indicate that the current is present in the electric circuit. If the current is present, then this bulb will
But
usually
Glow.
tend to red or green, depending upon the type of bulb used.
yes, sir.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, talking about the conducting liquids, moments ago we talked about it. Right now,
Yes, sir.
solutions of acid, bases, or salts. These are some of the examples, as you can see here. Okay. As I say that distilled water is a bad conductor of electricity because of the absence of dissolved salts and minerals in it,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yeah.
While the water that comes from the underground or the tap water that comes from the municipality or the pond or any other source of water, they will be consisting of minerals plus salts in them, along
Yes,
with
sir.
some
Yes, sir.
heavy nowadays heavy metals There is a pollutant found in the water as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So water starts conducting when acids, bases, or salts are dissolved. That releases ions. Right. Now the here comes the term ions. You मैंने शुरू में कहा.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
which
sir.
conducts when a potential difference is applied. Now what is this potential difference now? Look here. Let's again take a beaker here. See, you have no आपने से mineral water डाला है. This is a mineral water in and this beaker number 8.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And you have dip in wires here. And let's say these are the openings of the wires, copper wires हैं ये. Electricity is coming from this wire number X here. Okay. Now
Yes, sir.
on the wire number Y, it won't be moving because this water does not have molecules of minerals or salts in them. Because in order for the electrons to move, it needs a medium. That
Yes, sir.
medium is basically being provided by minerals and
Salts.
salts. Right now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now here there is no generation of iron. No ions are formed. Right now, as
Yes.
soon as I were to pour some acids in it, okay, मैंने कुछ acids इसमें डाल दी. Now here what happens that acids, acids are made
Yes,
up
sir.
of different types of and they different types of acids are there. Okay, and they consist of hydrogen, chlorine, and sulfur, nitrogen. Right now, ये सारे हमारे minerals हैं.
Yes,
These
sir.
are the important types of
Yes,
minerals:
sir.
nitrogen, chlorine, hydrogen, sulfur. We can count them as minerals here. So
Yes, sir.
as
Yeah.
soon as you add, as soon as these minerals get dispersed into the medium, as soon as they gets dispersed into the medium, now charges from wire number X will be conducted to the to the wire number Y here. Getting
Yeah.
it now?
Yes, sir.
And also you see when your water will start conducting when acids, bases, or salts are dissolved. So their only function is to release ions into it.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
which conducts when a potential difference is applied. Now, what is this
Yeah.
potential difference now? Potential difference का concept क्या है? For example here, what is happening now?
The
Say,
presence of different minerals and salts.
no. Look here. जैसे हमारा ये example ये हमारा bulb होता है. Okay, and suppose this bulb is now connected to a battery here or cell here,
Yes, sir.
right? हमने इसे एक बैटरी से हमने कनेक्ट किया है. Okay, now what happens in this case now? The cell, inside the cell you have got several chemical substances. Okay,
Yes, sir.
and that chemical substances converts into electricity.
Yeah.
Right, if you were to ever open a dead cell, dead battery, inside that you will see there are several types of chemicals. Okay, and
Yes.
बीच में एक rod भी होता है. That is the
Yeah.
electrode of the cell. So here the chemical substances in them you see ions are continuously moving.
Yeah.
Ions are continuously moving, and due to the continuous motion of the ions inside the cell, electricity is produced.
Yes, sir.
While this bulb here, इसके पास कोई chemical नहीं है. It has got no chemicals, nothing like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so here there's a zero charge now.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
0 volt charge है यहाँ पर. Okay, and here the power of the cell is, let's say, 5 volt.
Yeah.
5 voltage of charge is there. 5
Yes, sir.
voltage है इसके पास. So here there's a difference now.
Yes, sir.
5 minus 0, that is 5 volt का difference है.
Yes, sir.
Right now. So for movement of charge to happen, movement of electric current to happen from the cell to bulb, we actually needed a difference. In this
Yeah.
case, it was 5 volt. Had this bulb in imaginary situation, अगर इस bulb के पास भी 5 volt होता, will there be flow of charge? Will there be
No.
flow of electric current? Obviously no. Correct now. Same concept applies here as well. As soon as we added the acids, bases, and salts in the solution, what it did, it added ions into it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Ions, when the ions were added, now the flow of charge started to take place. Flow of electrons from wire X started to take place in this electrolyte. Getting
Yeah.
it up?
Yes, sir.
So then in that case, we see that potential difference was also applied.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Because earlier the two wires were not connected
Hmm.
because this medium was not serving its purpose. As soon
Yeah.
as we added acid base and salts, ions were generated. So we said that circuit is now complete here now.
Yes, sir.
सर्किट इज कंप्लीट, हमारी सर्किट कंप्लीट हो गई. तब हमने कहा इसके पास तो zero electrons, it has got zero charge.
Yes, sir.
Getting it, Ahmed, Arhan, Arham?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yes, sir.
same, if you were to, for example, हमने इस wire को यहाँ से cut कर दिया. If you were to cut this wire, the circuit is open. There's no question
Yeah.
of potential difference here. Circuit ही हमारी break हो गई है. Is there any question of talking about potential difference in this case?
No, sir.
No,
No.
sir.
Okay. Circuit जब complete होती है तभी हम potential difference की बात करते हैं. Getting it now?
Yes, sir.
So this is how electricity is conducted into water that consists of ions, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then have a look at this. Have a look at this. Okay, the tap water is able to glue the water, glue the
Yeah.
bulb here. The bulb is gluing here. While in the second case, the bulb does not glows. The
Yeah.
reason is clear.
There's no. Yeah.
Here it is having particles of ions.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but here there's no ions in the second case. Getting it now?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay, once more read about electrode. Ahmed, read the first paragraph, please.
Okay, so a conductor when immersed in solution is end connected to the terminals of a battery, thereby completing a circuit is called an electrode. There are usually two electrodes, cathode versus VE and
It's positive.
anode plus
Short में हम इसे positive
VE.
कहते हैं. Okay. Look, this is in short read as positive. Positive की short में हम ऐसे लिखते हैं. In short, it is written like this. And negative, in short, it is minus, and negative का VE.
Hmm.
All right now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is the thing here. Read further. Okay,
Okay,
here
sir.
it's supposed to be negative. Okay.
electrolyte-
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, sir. An electrolyte is a solution in which the electrodes are submerged. They dissociate on the passage of electric current. The electrodes, electrolyte, and battery together form the electrochemical electrolytic cell.
Now, electrode का concept clear है. It is simply a piece of conductor which is when immersed into the solution with its end connect to the terminals of a battery. Okay, यहाँ
Yeah.
पर जो electrodes हैं, ये electrodes, let's say cathode and anode. Their one end is connected to this battery here, right? Now,
Yes, sir.
their one ends are connected to the battery here. Okay, so it's simply an electrode is, it could be any piece of conductor. Even a piece of spoon can be a electrode.
Electrode. Yes, sir.
Okay, you will be calling it an electrode only when you immerse it into an electrolyte and it's one of its end is connected with a battery,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, there are usually two types of electrodes.
Yes.
Remember them. Cathode, that is negatively charged, that generates negative charge, and anode that develops positive charge, right?
Yes,
Now,
sir.
okay.
Yes.
An electrolyte is what? It is simply a solution in which the electrodes are being submerged, right? Now, okay,
Yes,
and
sir.
they dissociate on the passage of electric current. They dissociate. What does it mean? Okay, dissociate. इस टर्म का मीनिंग क्या होता है? Dissociate, what does it mean?
I don't know.
To separate, to break into things.
Scatter.
Scatter. So scatter किस चीज में हो रहा है? It is scattering into what?
Ions.
Exactly, very good. So the electrolyte is scattering into ions, dissociates into ions. So that is what is happening. It will happen when? Only when electric current starts to pass through it.
Yeah.
Getting it now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if you were to have a look at the typical structure of a battery, okay, the pencil size battery, अगर उसकी हम बात करते हैं, it somewhat looks like this, right?
Yes, sir.
The other end is a little bit curved like this. Now, in the middle, the rod that passes across in the middle of the body of this battery, that is a electrode,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
right? One of the side is positive, another side is negative
Negative.
of this battery here, right? And this has got a electrolyte also.
Yes, sir.
इसमें electrolyte भी होता है. So the chemical that is filled around this electrodes, okay,
Yeah.
that is basically electrolyte. And in this electrolyte, the formation of what happens? Formation of ion
Ions.
takes place.
Ions.
Getting it now?
Yes, sir.
So this whole setup is called as an electrolytic cell. A cell that has got electrolyte in it. Right now?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
That is clear? Good.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now then comes the concept of electroplating. What is this electroplating now?
So the
We
process
can
of
look,
depositing a layer of another metal on a piece of object or a metal.
Good. Okay. Or we can do one thing now. We can discuss electroplating in the later part of the chapter. Right now. हम इसे later part में discuss करते हैं. As of now, do one thing. First, let's talk about the effects of chemical currents. Chemical effects of electric current. पहले
Yeah.
उसको हम discuss कर लेते हैं. Then we will be moving further. Right now?
The magnetic effects are also taking place, right?
Exactly. If electricity is flowing through a wire and if you were to bring a compass near it, the needle will start to move. The needle of
sir.
the compass. That shows that a magnetic field is also generated when electricity is passing.
Yes,
Very
sir.
good. Very good. Okay, back to the concept which we were talking about. Chemical effects of electric current. Or what were the chemical effects which we mentioned? There were 3 chemical effects. 3 chemical effects हम observe किया था हमने. Electric current, it can bring about chemical changes. So it is said to have a chemical effect on substances. What type of substances? It is going to be liquid substances.
Yes,
Right
sir.
now. Okay.
Yes.
What if I were to try to pass electric current through water?
So it
So
will
that's what ions.
Obviously, that will happen. But let's say what happens now. There's any water apart from the
Yes, sir.
mineral water. Okay. Now you are passing electricity through it.
Yeah.
Then in that case, what will happen? The water will split into its components. That
Yes,
is,
sir.
it will be splitting into hydrogen plus
oxygen.
oxygen. Getting it now? So here
Yes,
we
sir.
see that water is a chemical compound, and hydrogen and oxygen, as you can see, is it a compound or element?
Element.
Elements, sir.
These are the elements here, right now. So in
Yes.
this reaction, what you guys can observe here? We simply observe a chemical compound has been decomposed into its elements.
Yes,
जिस
sir.
elements ये chemical compound water बना है उसमें ये break हो गया.
Yes,
So
sir.
here is the process, is the change physical or chemical? Can we
Chemical.
reverse the, right?
Chemical.
Obviously chemical, because you can't reverse the reaction here.
Yes,
Right
sir.
now. So this example, this reaction is an example of the chemical effect of the electric current. Getting it now?
Yes, sir.
Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Interestingly, this process has been termed as what? It has been termed as hydrolysis of water. Hydrolysis of water. And interestingly, this is the reaction that is used in the generation of hydrogen fuel.
Yes, sir.
This is how hydrogen fuel is generated. All right now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that was one of the example of chemical effect of electric current. Getting it now?
Yes, sir.
Then what was the next type of effect we had apart from this?
Formation of bubbles.
Formation of bubbles is also there. Okay,
Yes,
can you
sir.
list an example where formation of bubble takes place? Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yes. Think of the example. Or also think where there's a change in color. यहाँ पे color भी
Green
change हो रहा है.
potatoes in colors.
In potato, color changes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, that is one of the example. Okay, so there you will see what will happen. The color is
It
changing
turns
a
to
little bit.
green.
It turns to green. Exactly. If you were to have a potato, okay, and put in two rods here, okay, connect
Yes,
it
sir.
with a battery here.
Yeah.
This is the symbol of a battery here. Okay. By the way, what is the difference between a battery and cell?
Sir, a
बैटरी और सेल में
battery,
क्या डिफरेंस होता है?
your battery is multiples, two or more, two or more cells.
Two or more than two cells combined together forms a battery.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so अगर हम बात करते हैं change in color, so we can demonstrate it like this. You cut a piece of potato into half, okay, and put in two rods into it, okay, and then let's say you have completed the circuit here. Okay, now
Yes.
take now what you will be observing as soon as the current starts to flow here.
Yes, sir.
Interestingly, the current is able to flow across this potato. Can you guys name the reason why current is able to flow across the potato?
So it has
Mm-hmm.
So because of ions and electrolytes.
Ions and electrolytes, right? It develops ions. Okay. Now in this spot, let's say this, in this spot, you will see that a greenish blue color appears.
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, as soon as the current starts to flow in this potato, a greenish blue color will appear here. So that is one of the example of
Change in color.
change in color in potato.
Yes.
Right now.
Yeah.
Okay, then you had example of effervescence also, where bubbles are evaporated. Okay,
Yeah.
think of some of the examples where bubbles evaporating. Mm-hmm.
They're boiling the water.
Are you passing electricity there? In respect of electricity, you have to think. Yes. Think of some examples.
So Jesus.
Geysers. Yeah.
So lemon juice.
In lemon juice. No. Look here. If you were, especially in winters, yes, Ahmed?
Nothing, sir, nothing. I was thinking.
Okay. If you ever happen to use this, that is called as what? Immersion rod, I guess. Right now? Somewhat it
I
looks
think
like
so.
this. Immersion rod, you know what is immersion rod?
No, sir.
No. People who don't
So
have,
it's used to heat water.
exactly, it is used to heat water. Right now, people who don't have geysers, they use this immersion rod. Okay, this is the metallic end. So if you were to put it in the bucket, right, electricity is passing through it. Okay, and it
Yeah.
starts to heaten up. So
Hmm.
Arhan, Ahmed, Aram, you guys must have seen that. If you were to put it in this water, what will happen? Bubbles start to form around this
Yeah.
immersion rod. So isn't that in one of the example of the
Yes,
formation
sir.
of bubbles? right now.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So that is one example.
Sir,
Getting it
is
now.
geyser example?
In geyser, not entirely sure like what goes inside the geyser. Yeah, there must be formation of bubbles inside the geyser. It's a closed structure. So obviously
Okay.
there also bubbles will start to form. Getting it now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we can demonstrate the effects of chemical chemical effects of electric currents in a numerous way. You have n number of examples. We just saw one of the example where color was changing. This was one of the example. Mhm. Okay. Then you have other examples also. Okay.
Yes, sir.
We can set up another experiment also.
Yes, sir.
For example, take a beaker, put two carbon rods here. Okay, put two carbon rods that you have taken, for example, you have taken from a cell. Okay, हमने
Yes.
दो dry cells से हमने उसके carbon rods निकाल लिए. And let's put them in this beaker here. Okay. Now, also make sure that you clean their metal caps here. इसके metal caps
Yeah.
जो होते हैं, clean the metal caps with sandpaper. With the help of a sandpaper, clean them. Now wrap copper wires around the head, around the metal caps. हमने copper wires को wrap कर दिए. Getting it now? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Sure.
Now connect them to a source of electric current. For example, हमने एक battery ले लिया.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we have connected them to the battery. By the way, which end of this battery is going to be positive terminal or which one is a negative
Sir, the
terminal?
left one will be positive.
The smaller one will be
The
Negative.
smaller one will be negative.
exactly. This one is negative here, while this
Yes,
one
sir.
is
Positive.
positive. Okay, remember that as
Cathode
well.
and anode.
Cathode and anode. Good. Okay, now as soon as you'll be switching on here. By the way, we didn't talk about the electrolyte. What electrolyte we are going to take here? We can take what? We can take, for example, any acidified water.
Yeah.
Let's take any
Sulfuric
acid.
acid.
Yeah, we can take that as well. It could be any acid, sulfuric acid, hydrochloric acid, or any acid. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now here, as soon as you were to on this battery here, as soon as we were to connect this wire to this battery here, what are the possible things you will be observing here? Mm-hmm.
So the
Bubbles.
bubbles will be forming near the rods.
Okay. The thing is, not, you won't be observing anything very instantly. You have to actually wait for 5 to 10 minutes for something to occur here. Okay. So you will be observing that there will be a formation of gas bubbles here.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a normal setup. Okay. Where you have got an electrolyte and two electrodes here. Okay.
Yeah.
We haven't added any other material into it. Okay. Just this. So once the circuit is being completed, you will observe that bubbles will start to form. Where will be the formation of bubbles in this? Bubbles कहाँ पर form होंगे?
See the near the rods.
Near the two rods. here.
Rods.
Exactly. So near the two rods, you will see that gas bubbles starts to form. So that is another demonstration of chemical effects of electric current.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so these are the gas bubbles. In fact, this can be done at home also, but using a cell of low power. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so that was an experiment to demonstrate chemical effect of electric current. All right now. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Apart from this, like हमने discussed, yeah, you get to see the bubbles. You get to see that color also changes right now. Okay. Apart from that, what else we took that there might be deposition of metal also.
Yes,
Apart from
electroplating.
this, Electroplating, that is the concept of electroplating right now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what else do you see apart from like chemical effects के अलावा और क्या हम observe करते हैं? If
Heat.
for the moment, if you were to stop, yeah, heat and
Yes, sir.
light is also there.
Magnetic.
Magnetic effect is also generated
Yes, sir.
right now. Okay, so that can also be an example. Now you see, almost 220 years ago, in the year 1800, there was a British chemist, William Nicholson. What he did, what he did, he showed that if electric current is passed through acidified water, then bubbles of oxygen gas and hydrogen gas are produced at the two carbon rods here, two electrodes here.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Getting it now? So this experiment which we just discussed, the gas bubbles here are of what? Yeah,
Hydrogen and
oxygen and
oxygen.
exactly. These are of
Hydrogen.
hydrogen and oxygen. Getting it now? So oxygen gas was formed at the positive electrode, that is at anode. Say this is the positive electrode here.
Yes, sir.
ये anode है, ये cathode है. So the bubbles surrounding the anode were of oxygen, and the bubbles surrounding the
Hy-
cathode are of
hydrogen.
these are the hydrogen. Getting it, Ahmed? Right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And cathode is what? Always remember the sign convention of the two electrodes. This is negative, and this one is
Positive.
positive. Now, interestingly, apart from ये तो electrodes होते हैं. What about the ions, guys? We
Sir, they
talked
are
a little bit about. They no, ions are found in the electrolytes. They are generated when electric current passes through the electrolyte. Ions भी दो types के होते हैं. One is positive ion, one is the negative ion. Okay, right now. Now,
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
interestingly, the positive ion is called as cation. cation, cation. Negative ion is called as anion. Ahmed, getting it? Arhan, Arham.
Yes, sir.
Now, anode, the anode is the positive rod, positive electrode, while anion is the negative ion. They might seem confusing, like anion, anode. थोड़ा सा confusing लग सकता है, but always remember that anode is the positive electrode while an ion is the negative ion. Then you have the example of cathode, that is the negative electrode, while cation is the positive ion.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So when these ions are being formed in the electrolyte, can you guys use some logic and tell me where these ions will be shifting? Which ion will be shifting to the shifting to which electrode? Think of this and do answer me.
Anion will be sticking to the cathode and
Yes,
uh,
sir. They will
uh,
be opposite.
No,
yes.
no, no. Arhan, anion will be sticking to the cathode. Anion, I just say that anion is negative. Cathode is also negative. Will the negative charges stick together?
No, sir, yeah.
No, sir. No, sir.
Right now?
It will stick to anode.
Exactly. So anions will stick to the anode. Ahmed, are the things getting clear to you also? Okay. जहाँ पर confusion है, please let me know there. All right now? Okay. These concepts are important for your higher classes also. Please remember them as well. Now this cation will obviously be moving to the cathode. Getting it now?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So to conclude, what are the things we have discussed today?
Electrolytes,
Hmm.
ions, chemical
First, we
effects.
started from conductors and insulators.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, Arhan.
Chemical
Continue.
effects
Hmm.
and
Electrodes.
formation.
Hmm. What were the some chemical effects? Ahmed, क्या क्या chemical effects होते हैं electric currents के?
The charges are
Yes.
positive and negative.
No. That is another thing. No? Look, chemical effects of electric current are as follows. Formation of gas bubbles at these two electrodes.
Yes, sir.
Then deposition of metals at the electrodes. इस electrode का metal अगले electrode पे deposit हो गया,
Yes, sir.
right? That is basically the concept of electroplating.
Yeah.
Change in solution color. If the color of the solution changes, that is also chemical effect of electric current. Getting it now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So ये होते हैं चीजें. Okay, so let's keep the discussion till here.